Hey, everybody, and welcome to Legion's Ladies Live. Hello, Miss Amber.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic on this wet, rainy Thursday.
Yeah, wet and rainy for sure. Not here. Here it is hot and humid.
With at least 6 jackets on. And
Hot and humid. So we would like to welcome Jared Toybro. How are you doing, Jared?
I'm good. How are you all?
Oh, we're doing great. Welcome to Legion's Ladies Live. It is so exciting to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here. I told you I was waiting for this message since Legion's Con.
And when it came through, you were like, yes, I am ready to go.
I'm in.
That is awesome. Well, we are so excited to have you on the show, of course. We are going to, I guess, Amber, you ready to welcome the people who are in the chat?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We have Stacy Lynn.
Well, we got two Lynn's.
And we have Josh Brown.
Hey, Josh.
Curtis Ackerman.
Hey.
Terrence.
Hey, Terrence.
Jen.
Hey, Jen.
And we have Brian Lynn. Just one Lynn.
All three Lynn's.
And Twizzler.
Hello.
William.
Hey, William.
Darla Ackerman.
Hello, Darla.
Kevin McCoy.
Hi, honey.
There. And Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
Gluten Freestyle.
You need to tell us who you are because I don't recognize that name. But tell us who you are so we know who you are. All right.
We've got Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Benny. Hi, Benny.
Benny.
Kevin says I'm echoing. How do I fix that?
Is it Amber echoing or is it me echoing?
We have Seth. Oh, I do hear me. Curtis says, I think we're getting echo from Tanya because it's when I talk.
Okay.
And we have Pepper. I can turn my mic down.
Is that better?
Hello. I don't.
Let us know if that's better.
Anymore.
I don't think I heard it that time.
I don't hear it anymore.
Okay. All right.
Perfect. Well, we went through everyone.
Awesome. Well, good. Okay. Well, we are so excited to have, of course, Jared with us tonight. Jared and I talked when we were at Legion's Con, and I said, hey, we want you to come on the show. And he said, okay, just let me know when.
And here we are. That's the short and long of it.
Do what?
And here we are. That's the story. So.
There it is. When I messaged, she said, okay, I've been expecting this. Yes, let's go. So, but it's exciting to have him on the show. Cannot wait to get to know more about him. And, oh, I am so excited. Okay. But first, I have to talk about some news. 3 new shows added to the lineup for Four Horsemen. They are going to be at the 5 Points Festival in New York, June 7th and 8th. And I believe that's actually the studio is going to be there. And then they are going to have a team at Heroes Con. And I believe that is Ginger Kid Collectible that's going to be at Heroes Con on June 20th and 22nd. And then it looks like they've added the Great American Toy Show in Massachusetts, I think, and July 19th. Curtis, I was reading Curtis's. He said that introduced Toy Bro 1 million times at Legion's.
That's the summation of my Legion's Con experience, is hearing Van scream my name from anywhere and everywhere.
That's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. And then, so Shop the Curiosity has already happened. IshCon already happened. Maryland Toy Show is coming up, and then Joe Fest is coming up. So all the new things that you're coming up. Now, Jared, have you been to any of the cons this year?
I haven't been to anything this year. I don't get to many cons. A lot of them are like too far for me to want to go from where I am. So
Gotcha.
That's a lazy excuse, but that's the reason.
No, that works. We always see you at Legion's Con, so I'm always happy. That's the most important one anyway. The in-stock sale is still going, and they still have quite a few Cosmic Legions up. So go get the Cosmic Legions off of the in-stock sale. And then All-Star 6, the all-ins are shipping. And Jared, did you get your all-in? Did you get?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So my box, Kevin, because you have to sign for it, Kevin had it come to my work today. So as I'm sitting at my office today, they bring it in, and basically from like, I don't know, 11:15 to 5 o'clock, it just sat there. Couldn't
just
open
baiting
it,
you.
couldn't play with it, just staring me in the face.
Looking at you.
I was just like, ah. But at least we've got it today. So I am looking forward to that. And of course, one of my favorite things that we are getting is the belt packs.
Yeah.
The long-awaited belt packs.
Oh yeah, they are.
I forgot there were two of them.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a black one and a brown.
There's a black one and a brown one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got more belts than I could ever possibly handle now.
But with all the older figures, you might want new belts to put on them. So switching out belts.
I've got enough
kind of cool
to do the whole collection, I think, after what arrived today. So
yeah. I don't think I could do my whole collection on what arrived today, but my one little box came. So okay. And then here, all of the singles are shipping from China now. So we are so excited to have them on the water, or shipping from China, coming to us. And I believe we have a mid-August release retail date. So that's awesome. So excited for those. And then these were the paint matches, paint samples from China that they had in the office at Four Horsemen. And this was for Ox Crew 2. And look at that head sculpt. I mean, look at that head paint. Oh,
beautiful.
I know, right? Like, I cannot wait to get up with that one. And then they showed this one this morning, I believe. This is the paint match sample for
Scapular.
Scapular, yeah. And it is, I mean, Do you see his gauntlets? I mean, it is gorgeous. This is such a great figure. Like, I cannot wait to get this one. They just tease.
I'm ready for this guy. The old one needs an upgrade.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, he does.
He's a good figure, but this is a whole different level.
Yeah. There is so much goodness in this wave that's coming. Rising Suns, right? Yeah, this is the Rising Sun. So, yeah, I cannot wait to get this one. This one, of course, Neve is going to be in there, which is what I'm looking forward to. And then you got Bodvar.
Oh,
that bear. I cannot wait. So exciting. So anyway, yes, this is a good one. And then Legions Con coming up, and this is 2 of the Legions Con exclusives that they have announced so far. 2 separate figures. So you're not going to have to buy a 4-pack. Or a 2-pack. You can buy a single figure. You don't have to buy both. But then when he popped this one up today, I mean, how gorgeous!
No one's going to buy just 2, so
no.
You have to buy at least 4. Like, you have to.
No, right? Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how good. Yeah. And I've been laughing. I mean, this is a great figure, and I know that we're going to get more than just the standard 2 of both of them. But trying to add up in my head, like, how many of those females that I want for customizing on top of the 2 that I need for the actual figures themselves. So,
a lot.
I think I'm at 4.
You got a long time to go to figure out your final count. It'll grow by then.
Yeah. Right now we're at 4. Right now, we'll see where that ends up. And then we have Infinite Legions. Faden, I believe, is the name. June 6th. So they're going to introduce the first Infinite Legions on June 6th, which should be super exciting.
Oh, yeah.
We kind of saw what it might look like at Legions Con last year, right?
Yeah, they showed that original, like, early render.
Right.
Who knows if it's changed by now? Because it was mostly just like a tusk body with some new stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's probably more detailed than that by now.
So I can't wait to see that. Yeah, that's going to be so good. So that's June 6th. Make sure you tune in on June 6th. Yeah. And then this and our background, we did something. We have had a lot of people who have said things to us about having a way to, talk and possibly do a Facebook group with Legions Ladies Live so the guys can join in. We have guys and girls, and we can talk in between, update you guys as we know things, and just, just a place to hang out, answer questions, ask you guys to help us ask questions. Like, if I'd done it before, we could have had you guys submit questions for Jared. So things like that. So want to, of course, grow the channel. I got a goal. Amber, do you think we can hit the goal?
Absolutely. We've got a lot of friends.
I know, guys, but we need your help in order for us to hit it. We are hoping to hit 1,000 subscribers by Legions Con, or right after Legions Con. So I think we can do this, and you guys tell all your friends, tell everybody to come subscribe. It is going to be a great place, and we really are looking forward to doing some great things. And so thank those that have already joined our chat, and Thank those that have already joined the group, and thank you so much to the ones that are coming. Yeah, we definitely need you. All right, let's take that down, and then Amber.
We got a $4.99 super chat from the lovely Van Johnson. Oh my God, Tanya, Amber, Toy Bro is on Legion's Ladies Live. Toy Bro is the best. You rock, Jared.
He is my biggest fan.
Heart.
It was an honor for him to meet me.
It was an honor for me to meet you. I was so like, oh, it's Toy Bro. Oh, it's a little intimidating the first time you meet somebody that you only see online.
I'm very imposing, standing 5.5 feet tall. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't matter how tall you are. It's how many legions you talk to me into buying just by your reviews.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right?
Crap ton of them, to be honest with you. Well, I don't know. I think it's a pretty darn good thing.
Jordan said that you saved Van's life once when his foot got caught on the railroad tracks, recovering his baby.
That's a ridiculous story, but it's hard to tell if that's false or not. So
it is. Now, Jared, you would know if it's false or not.
I can't speak to what Van gets up to. I don't know why he was there.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. So I was excited to have you on. I did fangirl just a little bit because we've watched your reviews for a long time. My husband has collected figures forever, and we have watched your reviews for a long time. And seeing you at Legion's Con was, I mean, it was like kind of thing. So it was really cool. I think, and it wasn't, I mean, it was a lot of different YouTubers that were at Legion's Con that I've had the same like, reaction to. My first photo that I got of you, and I wish I had thought to pull it up. It was you and Darius, the Amazing, talking. And I was like, hey, let's take a photo. And I jumped in front of you and snapped a photo.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I do.
I'm going to get my photo with them. Determined. And it happened. And I was like, yay, got me. So, but I thought that was really cool. And then to actually meet you and talk to you, I mean, like, you're just the nicest guy. Like, you're just the nicest guy.
I'll make my wife watch that specific part. That's it.
You should. I mean, just the nicest person. And just thank you for what you do, really, because it is helpful. It makes me spend my money, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not either. But it is fun. I mean, it is cool. Yeah,
it's a good thing.
All right. So
I was requested to bring up this story. Someone wants to hear about it.
I don't remember exactly what was said, but it sure as hell ain't YouTube appropriate. So
sorry, Van, we tried.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the PG channel.
That was not a PG moment.
Channel. We're the kids can watch channel.
They don't want to hear that. So
he said, "Yep, that's the story."
Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. Okay, so let's go way back. Way back. For me, it's further than you. Where did you grow up?
where?
Where?
Louisville, Kentucky. That's where I still am.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a sweet little town. I love Louisville. What is one of your favorite things about Louisville?
I mean, it's really the only city I've known, so like it's where everything is for me. So all my family's here, all my friends are here, so that's just where I am. Like, I don't have any reason or interest to go anywhere else.
Do you have siblings?
I have one brother.
You have one brother.
Almost 9 years younger than me.
Oh, wow. Okay. And when you were a kid, what were like the first action figures that you remember playing with?
He-Man and Thundercats.
Oh, awesome.
And then
That
Turtles
is awesome.
after that.
He-Man, Thundercats, Turtles, like, what were your favorites? Like, if you were to go back and get your absolute favorites, what would they be?
Oh, I still have them, but Stinkor was always my favorite He-Man figure because of this smell. And Tigra for Thundercats was always my favorite. And Leonardo's always been my favorite turtle. So any Leonardo was always one I would get.
That's cool. Now, and that was one of the questions, like, later on. You still have your original, like, action
I have
figures?
a lot of it. I don't have all of it, but I have a good chunk of it. Some of it vanished one way or another. I'm sure my dad's to blame, probably. If I had to take a guess, I'm sure dad is to blame. But I don't know. Must have most of it. I've got all my He-Man stuff. I've got my Turtles. I've got my Thundercats. A lot of, like, I got my original Power Ranger stuff, the mid-90s Toy Biz X-Men stuff, and then a bunch of really random junk too. But all like the major things I still have. They're a little worse for wear right now, but because I played with them, but I have them.
Right.
Like my Stinkor's legs fell off years ago, but I still have them. They're together, but I don't even want to put him back together. That's what he is. So I just leave him that way.
That's cool. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. So, like, did you like keep them in your room, or did you like have a box or something that they went like? Was there ever a time when you were growing up when you kind of got out of action figures and then came back into them?
A couple times, yeah. Like, I'd say maybe like end of elementary school and like middle school, like those like early teen. I definitely wasn't as in. Like, I did start to get back in, like Star Wars, the second Star Wars line, the Big Power of the Force line in the 90s, that brought me back in, but it was just Star Wars stuff. And I didn't open any of it either I thought it was going to be valuable, I guess. I don't remember the reason, but that they weren't opened. And then like maybe like a couple years into high school, I didn't buy toys, but then when I got a job, I worked at Target, and I'm like, oh, look at all this cool stuff. I can just give my money right back to the company that's paying me. So that kind of brought me back in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it never really stopped ever since then. And that was 25 years ago. So
yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Obviously He-Man and Thundercats were TV shows as well. Well, they were all TV shows. Like, going back, is the toys what brought you in, or the cartoons or the shows, or those what brought you in?
I think it was the shows, because I mean I was all about the cartoons for all of that stuff, especially when Turtles came on. I was like the target audience. I was like 3 years old when Turtles started, so
oh yeah,
it was like exactly the right moment. Like, I probably wasn't going to choke on them at that point, so I could have the toys, and then I could be sat in front of a TV, and I probably wouldn't shut up for a half hour, but I would be enamored for half an hour. And then like after that, the next big thing was Power Rangers, and that was the same thing. The show, and then the toys. And so typically a lot of the stuff I'm into for the most part is based off of my interest in a show or a movie, I guess.
Gotcha.
Save for a couple major lines, but
So did you collect, or were you into like comics as well?
I was
Did you
big
get into
into
that
comics.
realm?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why toys went away for a while, is that I couldn't afford all of it. So I had a pretty massive comic collection for a while, like 25,000 comics. Like I sold most of it 7-ish years ago or so. I've got like all my major key issues still, but the bulk of it I got rid of because I kind of figured at a certain point I'm probably not going to read this again, and it takes up an insane amount of space.
It does.
Not that toys don't also, but they're a real pain to move, and I don't want to ever move them again. So I had somebody come to my house and buy them all and
Wow.
So you didn't
get
even
rid of them.
take them.
Oh my gosh.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So my husband is downstairs going, Tanya, no, never gonna happen. It's not. We will move those boxes from place to place, but I am not selling them.
Yeah, I part of me kind of regrets the decision to sell all my comics, but at the same time, like I just know I'm not going to go back through and read all of that again. Like there's some stuff I'd like to go, sit down and just read like one run of something because I know I could have done that, but there's other ways to do that now. So it's not a huge deal. And all the stuff that had any real value, I still have. So
Right.
I kept a lot of that.
Did you have like a favorite comic that you read?
I mean, I've always been big into X-Men. Like anything like mutant stuff is always the top. Because I was always just a Marvel guy. So X-Men stuff, and then like the cosmic side of Marvel, like Silver Surfer stuff, like anything in that realm. Big fan of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, X-Men was always the top stuff. So like I went after a lot of really key X-related issues, like first Sabretooth, first Wolverine, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, our son is named Logan.
So that says a little, yeah.
And the photo in the background. We're just a little bit of an X-Men family.
Right, yeah, just a little bit.
Comics, cartoons, action figures, all the stuff. Like, if you had to pick the one, like, character that is your favorite from when you were a kid, what do you, and not just as like a young kid, but even up into teenage years, what would you consider to be your?
That's kind of a tough question. I mean, I don't really want to say it, but probably Wolverine. Like he is still probably my all-time favorite character from everything. It's just so hard to top him. Like,
yeah. So you have mentioned you are married. You have a wife.
I do, yes.
How long have you been married?
We have been married for almost 14 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That is awesome.
Yeah, almost 14. Yeah.
And how did you meet?
We met online.
Did you really? That's neat. And like, how long did you guys date before you got married, or before you asked her to marry you?
About a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah. And so you've been married for 14 years. Do you guys have kids?
We have a daughter. She's 8.
Okay. She's 8. Okay. Awesome. And that's your only one?
That's it. That's gonna
okay.
be it. Yeah. That's it. That's it for me.
Trust me, I have a 24-year-old, and he's the only one. And praise God.
I'm happy with my decision.
There you go.
I like to return mine. That's why I like nieces and nephews.
Yeah. Your little They're so sweet, though. Okay, so what do you do when you aren't doing YouTube videos about toys?
I mean, honestly, not much. Honestly, not a whole lot. I mean, lately it's just been trying to not do stuff. I don't know if that's a good answer. Like just to not be so busy and
Yeah.
to relax for a little while. You know, I get up, I get my daughter ready for school, I go to the gym, I go to work, I cook dinner, and then there's a couple hours left in the day, and then it's bedtime, and then we start over. So I've been trying to utilize that few hours of the day to sort of not do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I totally get that.
Not doing something is quickly becoming a favorite hobby of mine.
I love not doing things.
Yeah. I don't get much downtime, so whenever I do get it, I really do take advantage of it. So what do you do for like a job?
I work for a software company. We make like healthcare software, like what your doctor might use to note your chart and do prescriptions and stuff like that.
Oh.
Oh, that's cool. Like what made you go from working at Target to working like
I at the time, like I went from Target and I worked at Circuit City after that. For people who remember what Circuit City is,
yeah, can I just tell you that's a blast from the past.
I loved working at Circuit City. It was great.
That's awesome.
But when I worked there was a guy that I worked with who he started working at the company that I work at now. And he like on his way, he was kind of like in between on his way out. He's like, we have an opening. You should apply. So I'm like, I would love to get out of here. So I applied. That's really all it was. And I've been there for almost 18 years. So.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. Like that is really awesome to be at the same company for 18 years.
It's the only real job I've ever had, you know, grown up job. Yeah.
Right. Now, do you like what you do? I mean, do you really like it?
It's all right. I mean, I'm kind of used to it by now, so it's just like kind of going through the motions with work. But yeah, I mean, I have a team that works under me, and so I'm kind of in, we'll say, leadership. I don't like using that word, but that's what they say.
Yeah.
Is it Epic or Cerner? But I've worked with both actually.
No, it's Veradigm.
Oh,
It used to be called Allscripts. Epic's our big competitor.
Cerner was terrible.
Cerner is too, but I don't encounter them very much. So.
Oh, that was awful. Epic is much better.
So, if you could like do if you could not do the job that you are doing now and do any job in the entire world, like you could do anything, what would you want to do?
Honestly, I would just like to own a toy store or a comic shop. Like that's always been my what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's an easy
Kevin
answer.
Has wanted to do. Yeah. That's awesome. Nothing around toys, nothing around anything like that. What are your interests and hobbies? And I know you said that you like to do nothing, but besides that, like,
I mean, if you consider going to the gym, working out a hobby, that's a hobby.
Sure.
I mean, it is for me anyway. And I mean, I play video games and play with my daughter. So, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
The toys are the big hobby. Obviously, if there's hobby time involved, that's taken up most of my time. But yeah, you know, working out, playing outside with my daughter, or just playing video games when I can find time. I don't find a lot of time for games anymore, but not as much as I want anyway.
Eventually, they leave, and then you think
that's what I tell myself. Yeah.
And then you don't have time for those even then.
Right. Yeah.
I keep thinking retirement is coming at some point.
I still got a ways to worry about that.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
I still have a very long time.
Yeah. So, as an adult collector, you worked at you're working at Target, you're getting all your stuff, you're working at Circuit City, you still have your own money, but when did like collecting for you become collecting? Like, I'm now collecting these toys.
I mean, it was sort of always that way. Like even when I was a kid, it was kind of that way. Because like my dad's a big collector, or at least he used to be. He successfully kind of not toys, but other stuff. So, and my grandfather is, I don't want to call him a hoarder, but he knows how to keep stuff.
Yeah.
But he also collects a lot of really cool stuff. And he collected toys when I was doing like 90 Star Wars. So he and I would go on hunts for those. So that was a big part of that, is to go and do that with my grandpa. That's a part of the reason why I never opened any of those either, because he didn't either, so I didn't. But and I'm not convinced he's ever seen Star Wars, but he wanted to buy the figures, so that's what we did. So, but I pretty much I've always collected stuff. Like even when I was really little, like it was important to me for reasons I'll never understand, that I gotta have this stuff. Like there's the back of this Ninja Turtle card shows me that there's like 800 different figures. I'm going to have to get them. Yeah. And I need to keep them, and they need to have their parts, and they need to be together. And I didn't do a great job of that, but I was very, very much into collecting when I was a kid. It got, we'll say worse, I guess is the right word. It got worse. Like when Masters of the Universe Classics started, because that was a major turning point for collecting for me, in terms of how it was done and how to get them, and the value of like a modern line of toys. Like that kind of changed things for me. And it kind of escalated from there.
That's awesome. So my husband was very much the same way. He always kept all of his stuff together. He knew where all the little pieces and parts to his Star Wars figures were, back in the day, and would keep them all together. That's neat. Don't run across very many collectors who did that as a kid, who kept their stuff together.
I tried to. Like, I mean, I kept some boxes as a kid. Like I even went that far to keep some boxes, like for some bigger items, which in hindsight was a really smart idea, but it was weird to my friends that I'm like, that's trash. It's not. Right. Look at it. Look at how cool this box is. Come on. You got to keep that.
Love that.
I might need that one day.
I love that.
20 years from now, I might be able to sell this on the internet, one of those kind of things, whatever that
is. Have you sold anything on the internet?
I sell stuff a lot, actually, but I don't. Oh, okay. I would never sell anything that I had as a kid. That stuff stays, even if it is valuable, and some of it is fairly valuable. But that's why I kept it. I didn't keep it to sell, really.
That's cool. So, like, as you started getting older and you started collecting lines for collecting, like, all of those things started happening. What, yeah, Kevin, I kept the cards even after I cut out the proof of purchase for the send away Boba Fett.
Right. Yeah. Of course you did.
Yes, he did. And yes, they're probably still sitting at his mom somewhere. Oh, that's funny. So when you start, like, as an older, you start working at your job that you've had now forever, 18 years. Whew. Your job that you've had forever. You've started, you're working there. You're making your own money. You're collecting your toys. Like, what were like some of your favorite toys that you collected before you started getting into Four Horsemen stuff?
Before, well, I mean, I guess, are we talking like Legion's Four Horsemen? Because Masters of the Universe Classics was Horseman stuff too, and that's like the line that really got me going. But like, at the same time, stuff like, I mean, I did Marvel Legends at that time. I wasn't huge into Legends until later on, but I picked up stuff here and there. When Star Wars Black Series came out, that was a huge thing for me, just because no one had ever made Star Wars figures at that size, at that scale. And then like SH Figure Arts, when those started to come up, I got heavy into those, and still am. But Transformers for a while. You could really more easily ask me like what I didn't buy. I think it would probably be the easier question, and that I'm not even sure what that would be. Like I don't really buy DC stuff. That's the easy answer. That's about it.
There you go. There you go. and some of the listener, we've had this DC discussion before, and some of them just cringed.
That would be Ryan.
And Curtis. Love you guys.
Yep, there's Curtis.
There he is, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I knew that was coming. Sorry. So, do you like the lines that you collected? Did you collect them because of nostalgia, or did you collect them because of like the art, or did you collect them just because they were cool toy? I mean, they were cool action figures.
I mean, a little bit of all of it, honestly, I suppose. Masters of the Universe Classics is the line that like really got me back in heavily, and is largely responsible for where things are with toys for me now. And that's a huge nostalgia thing. I mean, Motu is top 3 properties for me of all time, if we want to label it. So that line was extensive, and super deep cuts, crazy callbacks, all sorts of weird figures, and just modern He-Man toys again. Yes, I'm in. Let's do it. And like, doing Legends, it's just, I would pick up the characters that I cared about at the time. So that was just mostly just, I have, get the Wolverines or whatever. But a lot of stuff is just like, I like this property. These toys look cool. Okay, I'm going to buy them. That was about it.
Gotcha. Okay. So where did you do like the lines that the Four Horsemen did before Legions, Gothropolis and some of the other?
I did some Gothropolis, but I never did like Seventh Kingdom. I didn't do any of that stuff.
Okay.
There's at that point there was definitely a time where I couldn't have it all, so right. I had to pick and choose. So,
gotcha.
I wish I had gotten some of those, but
yeah. Now hindsight is 20/20 every time.
Yeah.
When did Legions come in? When did you start collecting like Mythic Legions? And
I've been in since day one.
Oh, have you? So the Kickstarter.
Yeah. I did not one of my biggest toy regrets is I did not go all in on that first Kickstarter. Didn't really stop me from getting it all, but I didn't go all in at first, so I did have to backtrack on some of it. I just couldn't do it at the time. I've learned since then that you do it, and you just move on. You figure it out later. So, and that's what I did. That's what I do now. So,
yeah, yes. Now, so you've been in from the start. So like when that first group of figures came in, do you remember what the first figure you opened was?
I want to say it was Gideon. It was either Gideon or Sir Ignatius, I think. I believe. I could be wrong. But I think it was one of those two. Because they're kind of unique among those. They're unique among those figures. Like they all use pretty much the same parts, but like Ignatius has a very weird paint job compared to like every other figure, and Gideon's got some unique stuff. He's got a helmet with a head underneath it, that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
I looked at those. I'm pretty sure it was one of those first. It took I don't remember how many I got in that first like order, but it was a good chunk of the first wave. So like Otho and Valgard, and I did try to get the ones that that just looked cool. That's really what I went for with those, because I didn't know what I was getting into at that point. Nobody did really.
right.
So I got ones that look cool, and that was it.
That's awesome.
We do have a $4.99 super chat.
Okay.
From Curtis. He says, I was trying to figure out why I was loving this episode so much, and then I realized Stacy Linlin is on screen. Can't wait for StacyCon in 2026.
That's right. I can't wait either. What were some of the first, like, when did you get involved in the community? As far as, like, were you on the chat boards before the Cabal? Were you?
No, I knew of them, but I didn't really get involved in those. Like I was really, I wouldn't say I was big, but I was somewhat involved on the He-Man forums, the He-Man.org forums for the Masters line, and there was a lot of Four Horsemen discussion there because they did that line. That was their
Right.
thing before Legions. So when Legions started, there was a lot of chatter there about that. So I was just kind of there. I was already there. So I don't really remember when I got brought into what we would consider this community. Like I met Walter at PowerCon in California in 2019, maybe. I think it was the first one I went to. And he knew me at that. He had known me at that point because of my reviews. So I know he brought me into the Cabal whenever it started, or maybe it had already been going by then. But I was fairly early on, I think.
Okay.
As far as the Cabal now.
Right. So you didn't do the forums, but you were brought in.
No, I don't. I'm not even sure I knew they existed at the time. Honestly, I don't know.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
I might have. I just don't remember.
So when you at PowerCon, when you met Walter, is there something about, like, other than Walter, is there somebody else or another, like, member of the Four Horsemen team that you met that just really made an impression on you at that time? Or
I met Cornboy there, and I think I want to say I met Eric also at that first PowerCon, because they were always there. But Legions had already been going at that time. So by the time I ever went to a PowerCon, I think Advent of Decay was already out by then. Yeah, because that was 2018. So I think that's the right year. I'm questioning if that's correct or not now, but it sounds right. So, I mean, but it was really cool to meet them. And it's the same thing everybody else says, to meet these guys that are like the behind the scenes people of this toy line. That just doesn't happen. Like, it does now a lot, but it didn't happen before then. You would go to a convention and maybe you'd see like a sales guy, or like, here's a vendor representative or something. Probably not the guy that's like actually sculpting the toys, but no, he was there just sitting there waiting to talk to people. So, like, yeah, this is awesome. Like, this is really cool. And it's definitely what made me at least a little bit more excited about the line. I was already all in to a stupid degree at that point, but to actually finally get to meet these guys, because I had known who Eric was for a really long time, because I'd been buying his stuff for over a decade at that point. But it's different to actually just finally get to meet some of them. So that kind of changed. I guess it changed my perspective on, who these people are behind the scenes doing this stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome. And I think that makes a big difference in this whole community. It
absolutely does. Yeah. I mean, it's because they're just regular guys. They just happen to also make this really cool stuff. Right. And they are absurdly humble about it, which helps their approachability. Eric's just like any other guy you just see. It's like, okay, yeah, just they want to talk, let's talk. Okay, sure. They'll talk to you about anything. So
right.
they're just a lot more approachable than I think a lot of people would expect, maybe, because I've met people from like
Right.
Mattel and other companies, and they seem they're there for trade purposes, and obviously the Horsemen are there too for that reason, but it's more personal to them than somebody who is 6 levels removed from the people that actually sculpt the stuff, or it's just like some VP of marketing that happens to be around to run the booth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it is such a great, I mean, talking with Eric is amazing, and just, getting to know a little bit of what the behind the scenes kind of, when we got to interview him on the show, was amazing. And of course, meeting him in person, just the nicest person. But it is Corn Boy who makes me laugh every single time. We were at Toylanta this year, and Corn Boy was there, and somebody walked up and they had something that they had bought, and he says, "Oh yeah, I worked on that." And it's just like, all the
that's awesome. That's cool. Like you bought it, and like this is the guy that's responsible for it. He's like a foot away from you. That's rad. That's awesome. You don't experience that in like anything else really ever. Certainly not somebody that's just going to be like over your shoulder. Yeah. Oh, I made that. Like, how often does that happen?
Never. And it was just nonchalant. It was like, "Oh yeah, I remember. I made that. That was really cool. And it has this and this." And I'm just like, that is just, it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Just to have him say that. But then the nicest guy just such a sweetheart. I love Corn Boy. So sweet. So yeah, and every time we just try not to suck.
Right.
Mission accomplished. Oh. Now, what do you think has been one of the best things about the Cabal, the community, the people? What's like, if you had one takeaway from, like, somebody here is not a part of the Cabal and you're saying, "Hey, you need to join," what would be your, like, this is why you need to join this community?
I mean, the easy answer is literally the community. Like, I mean, I buy a lot of stuff. I don't think it's any secret that I buy a whole lot of stuff, and I have, all sorts of different figures from all sorts of different lines. But Legions are the oddball in a good way. No, there's no other. I know there's definitely moments of contention and whatnot, like every other group, but you look at the Cabal and you look at like a Marvel Legends group, and it's just a night and day difference. Like, there's people in the Cabal that literally go out of their way to help people, or have forged these like insane friendships that span the country or the world or whatever. It's weird, and weird in a good way. I don't know a better way to say it. Like, it's just different.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that I talk to the most about toys are typically people that are in the Cabal. So
right.
It's usually about Legion stuff.
Right. Yeah, when I say, I have friends that live all over, and everybody's like, "What do you mean you have friends that live all over?" I said, "Yeah, we come together once a year from all over."
All over, yeah, literally all over.
All over the world. And we hang out. That's what we do. It is an interesting community for sure. So, do you have, at this point, at least one of every Mythic, Legions, and like Figure Obscura figure?
I don't have all of them, because some of the stuff I didn't get were like some of the basic Knight builders in that first Kickstarter. So like I never had a gold Knight or a silver Knight, because I didn't want generic Knights at the time.
Right.
Which proved to be a mistake, because those are super hard to find now.
They are.
And even though we have, the second version of a gold Knight and the new silver Knight coming, they're not the same figure. So to me, you know, I do have a couple small holes in my collection, but there's nothing that's like glaringly missing. I've got all the cosmic stuff. I've got all figure obscura. The only thing I'm really missing are a couple random, like generic night builders.
Gotcha. And I
think it might actually be
on.
just those two figures. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think, yeah.
Do you have all of your figures displayed?
Yes and no. They are, but I move a lot of stuff around because when I do a video, like almost invariably, I'm going to need something to do a picture or to do a comparison, or because I want to have other stuff in the shot. So I'll take stuff from down here and I'll put it in the room where I film, and then a lot of times it just never leaves. So there's some of it's up there, some of it's down here. It's all out, but I don't know if you would consider some of it a display. Some of it's in a mess. Some of it's in a display. And like, you know, I got All-Star 6 in a day, which means everything is going to be all over the place when I try to do videos, because I'm going to need to go through and find all sorts of skeletons and move them around and get them together for shots and things like that. And then I'll probably get lazy and not put them back right away. And then they'll stay there for a week or two and maybe they'll find their way back in. So they are out, but some of them are not what we would say in a clean display.
Gotcha. Like, do you have like a catalog of the ones that you've got? Like, if you have multiples of one, do you know that you have multiples of that one?
I typically know what I have, but I don't have like a running. In hindsight, it would have been great to have something like that, but I think I'm too far in to even want to try now. But I pretty much know what I've got multiples of. I know like the major players that I would like to have some doubles of that I don't. I kind of know that from that perspective. Like the ones I have one of, I know this is the one. I don't pop this one apart because I can't display it again if it gets bashed up with something, or don't sell these because I know I only have the one.
Right.
And it's really just like some of that early stuff.
Gotcha.
Once we hit after Advent of Decay, I really got into you should buy more than one of everything, for better or worse.
Yeah. Worse for the pocketbook, better for the collection.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you like go through your collection and think to yourself, well, I need to sell a few of these because I'm not, if you've got more than one, like if you have multiples, do you go through your collection and say, well, I've got several of these, I'm going to get rid of these and just keep these?
Not with Legions, not really. I try not to. I have sold some. Like I went pretty heavy on some of the early figure obscura stuff. And I realized later, I'm like, I don't need 4 headless horsemen. I certainly don't need like all these horses. So I did get rid of some of those and a couple of the original Krampuses, which I kind of regret because I could use some of those parts right now, but it's not a big deal. But usually I won't, just because I figure I could use them down the road, or that's what I tell myself anyway. But I have an insane number of unopened Legions that say otherwise. So I'm not really sure if it's the right choice.
Right there with you. Absolutely.
Like it might be in like the triple digits that have like unopened stuff right now for Legions, especially after what came in today. Because I got 3 all-ins of All-Stars 6 apparently. So here we are. It was a long time ago. I don't remember. I can't be responsible for what I ordered 2 years ago.
That's right. The question is did you order any singles that are coming later?
I don't think I did. I think I just got all-ins.
Okay.
But there's a good chance I have some like ordered at Big Bad Toy Store too. I almost always do, just because I don't know. I just do.
Yeah. What like your other collections that you've got, the Legends, the the Star Wars 6-inch, the all the other things that you have you culled through those and like whittled it down to like just things like, or do you just keep them all?
A little. I'm trying to do that right now to kind of get things back under control, because I have a lot of toys. Like I have a lot of toys. I've really, it sounds ridiculous, but I have so many that I really don't even have time to open them sometimes. Like I get them and I'm like, okay, I'll open this. And then well, I've got this, I need to open this instead. And then it'll get put down and then I'll get to it later. And later sometimes doesn't come. So I've been trying to sell stuff. Like I've sold what I would consider to be a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure I can tell any difference. So there's more to go. My wife certainly can't tell a difference. So, and I think she's right. It's there. I've just got a lot of stuff. Like there's stuff, I buy a lot of Mezco stuff too, and I've never displayed a single one of them ever. So I'm like, do I need this? Do I need these? Like they're really cool, but do I do anything with them? And the answer is no. But so maybe I should get rid of some of this stuff. So, but like, there's some stuff that I'm not going to get rid of. I'm not going to get rid of like my Masters Classics. I'm not.
Right.
Those aren't going anywhere. A lot of my figure arts, I'm likely never going to sell that stuff. Motu stuff in general probably isn't going anywhere. Kind of on the way out of Star Wars Black Series because it's just not doing it for me and hasn't for a while. So might whittle those down. But even Legend stuff, like I've looked into getting rid of some of that stuff, and it's like this is still a really cool figure. I just put it in a bin, and I'll come back to it later. Instead of getting like $8 or whatever, it's not worth anymore. So
right.
It's almost not worth the hassle if I'm not, just to sell something for just a few dollars. So
right.
I'd rather hang on to it.
I understand that. Okay. Let's talk about YouTube. How long have you been doing your YouTube channel?
8 years. 8, I think. Yeah.
Did you start off was it originally Toy Bro?
Yeah.
Where did that name come from?
My wife.
Really?
I only vaguely remember now, but like we used to call each other bro a lot, like just jokingly. And because she's the one who sort of suggested that I do the channel, and I always maintain that she suggested it, so I'll stop talking to her about it. So, go talk to somebody else about it. And it kind of came out of that. It's going to be about toys. You be the toy bro. I'm like, fine, sure. And now here we are. So that's it. There was almost no thought put into it. That's just sort of what happened.
It's cool. I love that. I love that she's the one that encouraged you to do this. What do you remember? What did you start out doing toy reviews, or was it just talk of toys, or how did it?
No, the first thing I did was a review.
What was your first figure?
It was a Thundercats figure. It was the Mattel Thundercats line that they had for about 6 months, and that was it. So yeah, it was Lionel. Yeah.
Wow. And do you remember like what your first Legions figure was? That
I don't know, because I really didn't get heavy into reviewing them right away. They just sort of gradually started to come in, because for a while back when I started, I wasn't accumulating so much that I had like all kinds of new stuff to review. That's like, this entire mountain of stuff is current. I can pick any of it and review it. So I was doing just whatever I wanted to talk about at the time. So I really wanted to talk about that Lino. So I talked about that Lino.
Right.
And then eventually it got to the point I'm like, nobody talks about this line. I'm going to start talking about these. And I started with I want to say I started with some of the birds.
Okay.
Like it might have been some of the birds. Like it might have even been like Egalis. I know I did him, and some of those like Etheron's Dozen birds and some of the Gothatropolis stuff. And from there, I kind of just started to filter in Legions over time, to the point where, when Advent of Decay came, that's when I was really heavy into doing them. And I tried to do the entire wave, but it was too much because it was like 45 figures.
Yeah.
It's like it took over the channel to the point where it's like I might as well just be a Legions only channel if I'm only going to do these. So I did the ones I really wanted to do, and then I just let the other ones go and moved on, because I didn't want to do the same product, do the same line for like 2 straight months, trying to pump out videos nonstop, because that was during the time when I was probably trying to do like 1 video a day, which became pretty difficult and is almost impossible now. So, but yeah, I mean, I started doing them fairly early on with the channel, but they weren't as prevalent as they are now. Eventually, I started getting a lot of views on Legion stuff because there really just wasn't a lot of content out there for it at the time. So I tried to focus on that a little bit more, especially when they were current. Like when Advent of Decay came out, that was really it. That was the big turning point for I'm going to focus pretty heavily on this line as the waves come out.
Gotcha. Now, on your channel, like, what do you know what the most viewed review is?
I think the most viewed video is a weird one. It's a NECA Predator figure, and I have no idea why. Couldn't begin to tell you what about that took off, but it has like hundreds of thousands of views on it. I don't know. I really have no idea. It's an odd one. It's an outlier for sure.
That's awesome. Do you know what your least viewed video is?
No, I have no idea. There are a couple that have definitely not like connected at all or weren't pushed by the algorithm, or stuff that I've done that's not like there's definitely times when I do stuff that's not like the normal stuff that I do, or it just takes a dive. But there's some stuff that I don't care. If I want to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it anyway. So
right,
I'm not too concerned about the views. They'll get there eventually. Even some of my really old videos have a lot of views on them just by virtue of being around for a while. So
yeah, I mean,
just let it ride,
even today, like Kevin and I will go back to videos of some of the first Legions that ever came out. We will see one and we'll go like, oh, I want to see a review on that. And we'll go back and just look up and see who's reviewed it and watch some of those. So
see what people were saying about this line like 8 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's neat. What has been your favorite review that you've done, do you think?
Well, I mean, if we call it a review, it was more of a reveal than anything else. But when Hasbro let me reveal the Marvel Legends Speedball figure, that was probably the peak for me. Because not only did I get to have like this pre-production sample from Hasbro, which that's weird in general. That was the very specific moment in time where they did that kind of stuff, and they really don't do it anymore. But specifically for that figure, that Speedball is one of like my favorite Marvel characters. He's a really weird, kind of off the beaten path character. He's not unknown, but he's not a Wolverine. And they wanted me to do a reveal from that wave, but they wanted it to be an Iron Man figure. But they knew that I loved Speedball so much because I'd actually brought it up to them in an interview with them once. I said, because I asked them what their most wanted Legends figure was. And I'm like, they asked me what mine was. I'm like, I want Speedball. So a couple years down the road, lo and behold, they make him and they asked me to do the reveal. So that's probably my favorite one. I mean, I've gotten to do Legions reveals too, and those are definitely up there. But that's probably the big one just because of how kind of weird that was, that this, that enormous company wanted me to do it. And, my photography, if we could even call it photography, was like used in official promotions and stuff like that. So that was really cool.
That's awesome. That is cool. What would be like your favorite things about having a YouTube channel?
I just like being able to talk about this stuff, really. And that's pretty much it. Like, it's easy. It's, it's one thing to, like chat on the Cabal or to, text somebody or whatever, but I can, articulate my thoughts, via speech, and it's not just talking at my wife about it. So, because I don't really have any like local friends that collect toys. I have one person, and he doesn't really live close enough for us to go hang out. I've got a couple people that are around here that like I know, and like Josh Brown in the comments, like he lives pretty close, but we don't exactly meet up to just talk toys. We talk about it online.
Right.
So being able to just sort of get it out there, because I'm not big into doing streams myself or that kind of thing. I've tried, and it just I'm fine being a guest, but I'm not big on being the host, I guess. So just being able to sort of get it out there and finding that people in some way, shape, or form care about what I have to say is, I guess, a little bit a part of it as well. Knowing that I'm just not talking into the void, that there are people actually base some sort of decision in some ways about the things I have to say about a toy, which still is ridiculous to me, but that's where we're at.
Yes, you have influenced a few toy guys. What would you say is probably your least favorite thing about having a YouTube channel?
Putting it out there. It's the same. They really the flip side of the same thing. Because for every person that likes what I have to say, there's people that don't like what I have to say, or the aspect of people considering everybody that does a toy review a shill for that company, that kind of thing. So I don't really read my comments anymore because I don't want to see it. So that's probably the big part of it is I don't want to, I'm putting my opinion out there. This is what I think. I'm not here to defend it. That's it. Your opinion's not going to sway me. I've already got the toy. I'm not going to throw it in the garbage because you told me I was wrong,
Right.
So that's probably the big thing is having to deal with the criticism aspect of it, right, which I've largely kind of gotten away from at this point. Yeah. So I just put a video out there and what happens with it happens.
There you go. Yeah. Is there advice that you would give to somebody who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel?
Just do it. There's really no advice. Just do it. You really have nothing to lose. You just do it. There's no barrier to entry. If you want to try it, do it. It either works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
The big thing is finding the time for it.
Yes.
And finding what you want to do and how to be consistent in it. At a certain point, you can stop being so consistent with it. People will still watch. But just try it. Do what if you're interested in it, just try it. That's all I did. I didn't do any research or anything. I'm just one day I wasn't doing it, and the next day I was. That was pretty much it.
I love that. It's kind of like us, huh, Amber?
Yeah.
One day we weren't doing it, and the next day we were.
You don't have anything to lose unless you're making some weird content, but that's a different story. But try it. Just see what works for you. I found what works for me in the time I have available to do it. So, and it's still fun for me to do it.
That's funny. So, have you been with your wife and your daughter, and you guys have been out somewhere, and somebody you don't know has recognized you from the internet with them?
I don't know that I've ever been recognized around my wife like that. But I've someone's recognized me at the gym before. I was stopped at it was probably a year ago. I was stopped at a Target. The guy couldn't exactly figure out how he knew me, but he's like, I know you. I'm like, oh God, how do you know me? And he's like, well, I'm a toy collector. Are you a YouTube guy? I'm like, yes. And we weren't in the toy section or anything. I think I was in the grocery section. And this guy walked around me with a cart and he did a double take and then he backed up just to talk to me. And then, I've obviously at conventions and stuff like that. The first PowerCon I went to was kind of an eye-opening experience because I was certainly not a big channel at that point. I had maybe 5,000 subscribers, maybe not even by then. And there were people that were coming up to me that I have no idea who you are, but they knew me. So that was kind of weird. And it's gotten more and more. The last PowerCon that I went to, maybe not the last one or the first one that I think that they did in Ohio when they moved, somebody asked for my autograph. And that was the first time. And that was a weird experience. He had me sign a He-Man's power sword. I had one of my friends with me and he was just like, what is happening right now? So he's like a foot taller than me, so he's like standing over top of me watching this happen, like watching me sign this sword. He's got like video and a picture of me doing it. He's like, this is the best day ever. Like, he's like, this is the most ridiculous thing that anybody would ever want your autograph. Like, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
But I mean, that was really cool, though. But it was really cool. Like, I was certainly like, obviously, like, kind of excited about that aspect of it. But like, it was also a really weird thing to be asked for my autograph, because I'm not famous. I just talk about toys on YouTube. So, so it has happened. But
that's awesome. You said your wife talked you into doing the show or whatever. Like, how does she feel about your collection? Does she like your collection? Does she like collect as well? Is she
tolerates it? She tolerates it pretty well. I mean, the only real issue she has with it is just the amount of it. And that's it. There's a lot. There's just a lot. Like, I have the entire basement full of toys. The office is full of toys. There's toys in the kitchen. There's toys in the dining room right now. And I don't want them there, but that's where they are. So, you know, that's part of the trying to kind of clean things up a bit, is to clean it up for everybody's sake, really. But I mean, she likes some of it. Like, it's not like she doesn't hate what I'm doing, or she doesn't I don't just discourage it in any way.
right?
She would like me to have more time for it. I know that.
Yeah.
And I don't have as much time for it as I probably need to really kind of do it how I want it, how I used to do it anyway.
Right.
But like, I mean, she's into like this kind of stuff too. She's not big on toys or anything, but like, if something's cool, she'll think it's cool. You know, she thinks Legion stuff looks cool. She's not ever going to collect them herself. Why would she need to at this point? But
right.
She has access to the whole library basically. But, you know, she likes a lot of the same stuff I do. And she thinks it's cool that, you know, I can have, you know, little plastic guys of my favorite characters. So she would be happier if I didn't like so many things, I have a feeling. And that's really the big thing. Like, I just like too much stuff.
Right. Well, and a lot of it is probably going to be nostalgia from when you were a kid. You want to.
A lot of it is. Nostalgia is a really problematic thing for me on a lot of levels. So it influences a lot, especially when it comes to toys.
Yeah, they're not up here, but I've never collected toys ever. I've never collected toys.
And now look at you.
Until Legions, and then I collected Legions. And Kevin's like, evidently that opened a door, because the minute I saw Bert and Ernie, I said, I gotta have those.
I still don't have those. I have the Count.
So I have Bert and Ernie and the Count. And I am waiting for all the rest of them.
I left Bert and Ernie on the peg at Target saying, I don't need to buy that. I don't need this line. And then I saw the Count and I go, I need this one. So now I have to get the rest.
So Kevin says I took a jump off the deep end whenever I jumped in.
A little bit, yeah.
So what about your daughter? Does she like the toys?
Yes and no. She is also like my wife, where she thinks I have way too many.
Yeah.
Like, literally, she'll be like, why do you have so many of these? Why do you have so many of this same guy? Like that, that's a big thing. But she doesn't really play with like action figures or anything. But she does think a lot of them are pretty cool. And like when we get new stuff, you know, she'll be interested in it. You know, what's this one? Or, you know, when are you going to open that one? That kind of stuff. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't necessarily need her to be 100% invested in toys. I don't know that I can handle that. No. If she was going down the same road as me, that would be a recipe for disaster, I think. So
right.
I'm not encouraging her to end up like I have. But I'm here to help guide her through that process if that's where she ends up.
Well, there you go. See? Best dad ever.
I can teach the younger generation if they choose this for themselves.
Yes. when you're setting up, when you're doing your YouTube channel and you're setting up and you've got your figure, and how do you pick like what figures that you want to show it with? I mean, do you have I know with a skeleton you want to show it with other skeletons and then you want to pick some others, but is there like a process that you go through to see like what you want to show them with?
Not necessarily. I mean, it kind of depends on what it is. If like, we'll use All-Star 6 as the example right now. It's obviously just the other half of Necronominus. So when I go to do videos or pictures, it's going to be those two waves together, likely, because they go together. So it makes sense. Or to have figures that are kind of reminiscent of it. Like this dude, Thrasis, is probably going to be the first one I do. And the more I look at him, the more I realize he's a lot like Waltor. Like he's really similar to Waltor, so I'll probably have them together in a picture or something, or to at least show the comparison, because they are strikingly similar in terms of how they're put together, not necessarily in parts, but like thematically. So I might do something like that. Or when it comes to like bigger figures like the ogres, it'll be a situation I'll want to have like a really small figure with them to showcase how big he is. So with Barodak, maybe a goblin or Malifar or something like that, or have him fight Thistlethorn or something like that, to showcase how enormous he is. It just kind of depends on what it is and maybe what the line is too. If it was if it was a Wolverine figure, I'd probably have a bunch of X-Men with him. So it just kind of depends on what it is. And what I can easily get to, if stuff is put away, I may not go digging for stuff just for one shot. But if it's easily accessible, then anything's fair game, really.
That's cool. It's fascinating. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I know you're going to do several. Are you going to try to do the whole the All-Star 6 line?
I'm going to do all of it. I may not do all the reissues because I've done some of them in the past. Like I know I did Ignatius and I've done Clavian. So I know I probably won't do them, although Ignatius looks quite a bit different. So I might. The finish on him is pretty wild looking. Like it's definitely different from the previous release. So I might, but I don't know if I want to devote enough time for that. It's the same figure. I don't know if it's worth it, but I'm gonna do all the new stuff for sure. And then I don't think I ever did Gorthok or who's the dwarf? Bothar. I don't know that I ever did him either. So if I haven't done them, I will do them out of this wave.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think if there are any other questions that I have for you. So you don't have any, do you have any cons that you're going to this year planned, or just Legion's Con so far?
It's probably just going to be Legion's Con.
Okay.
Probably.
Right. Now, out of the cons that you have been to in the past, is and I've heard several people say it, Legion's Con is like their favorite. Is that, like, if you could go back to the cons that you've been to, what would be a favorite of yours?
I mean, Legion's Con is definitely up there. It's definitely, there's no way around it. PowerCon is up there for sure. I wish it would come back. I really wish it would come back. But like going to California for the first time to go to PowerCon was a pretty cool experience.
Oh yeah.
That was a whole thing to go across the country just for a convention, just myself. But I really don't think anything can top Legion's Con. Really, it's hard. It's hard to top it. It's not like a lot of other conventions that you go to. It's, a lot of us know each other or have talked to each other for so long. It's like, okay, I'm just going to go see a bunch of friends. And it's also the place where I get like some of my favorite toys. So it's kind of a win-win situation to get to hang out with everybody and be present for all this Legion stuff. So it's usually Legion's Con. PowerCon is up there for sure, though. I don't really go to a lot of other conventions. There's kind of a drought around me. At least I feel like there is. So at least cons that I have the time to go to. I find it hard to want to go, like 8 or 9 hours away for just kind of a regular convention. Legion's Con is different because it's so focused. PowerCon was different because it's so focused.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at with conventions anyway. If there was, like when CarverCon happens, I'll probably find my way up there because that's not so far away that I can stay away from that one. So
yeah, I'm excited about that for next year. Yeah. Definitely, for sure. We've been to Ohio several times now, and that area is just really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to CarverCon next year. That's going to be fun. Jonathan, do you see his? Who's your favorite toy tuber named after a mammal? Oh, Jonathan.
I'm drawing a blank. I've got a pink shirt with a hedgehog on it, but I don't know.
I didn't get one of the pink shirts with a hedgehog on it.
I did.
And Curtis says it's the most comfortable shirt ever.
It's very comfortable.
Jonathan. All right. So we are going to move into some just absolutely random, crazy questions. Amber, do you have your list up there?
I do.
Okay. So we're going to let Amber start, and we're just going to ask you some random, crazy questions.
So, did you ever have any pets?
Oh yeah, we've got 4. Yes, we have 4 right now. I had to think for a second.
What was your first pet?
First pet, I want to say it was a cat. I've had pretty much always had a cat around my entire life. We have 3 right now. Yeah, pretty much always a cat. I can't think of a time where I didn't have a cat, except for maybe like a short period where we were between cats. So, where one had to go away or whatever they told me as a kid that this one had to leave. Whatever you tell a kid when their pet no longer is at home. I know one went to a farm is what I was told. I don't know that was
okay. True. Well, see, there you go.
I'm not so sure. Later in life, I'm questioning that statement.
What is the weirdest thing you've eaten?
I've had brains before. Is that weird?
You've had what?
Brains.
From where?
I think it was a cow brain or a pig brain. It's like you get it at like a Mexican like taqueria place. Like I don't remember what it's called.
Oh.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or like maybe it's not brains, it's like thymus gland or something. It's something up in your head. Yeah. Or someone's head.
Oh.
Huh.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
So what is your favorite food?
I mean, on any given day, I could probably say tacos, but like, from like not like Taco Bell tacos, like from an actual like taqueria place. We've got a place down the street that's like the best ever. Or like, I really like Indian food. Or like a burger, like a good like smash burger, but probably tacos on any given day. I could probably eat it every day, be content.
Absolutely.
Oh, do you have a favorite fast food?
Favorite fast food? Probably right now it's Taco Bell.
Tacos,
okay.
I love.
Is there any foods that you have eaten that you think is completely disgusting?
Completely disgusting. I don't know about completely disgusting. There's plenty of stuff I don't like, but I've got a lot of weird allergies too. So that kind of plays up a factor in stuff I don't like to eat. I'm not big on seafood, like in general. I like fish, but I don't like much else. Just
okay.
Slimy sea booger type creatures. Not a big fan of it. That's more of like a texture problem than anything else. I don't know. I don't know about that. But no, I mean, I'll eat a lot of weird stuff. So
Well, that's good.
I'll try most anything.
Okay. Oh, it's you're up. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song, band, or singer?
Uh, Not really. Like, not really. I just kind of I don't really listen to a lot of music, honestly. Like, not in the sense that like I don't listen to it, but like I don't listen to it while I'm in the car that often because I don't really drive a whole lot. Because I work at home, so I'm here pretty much all day long. And when we're in the car, my wife takes over the radio, so I just let her play whatever she wants. Or I really like the band 311. If you're familiar with them.
Oh, yeah, I love them.
I've been listening to them like my entire life almost. I feel like so if I were to say a favorite band, it's probably them. I know I've like seen them in concert more than any other band, and they'd probably be it. Yeah, I'm a big David Bowie fan.
Cool. Now I know you've said you've always had a cat, so I'm guessing cat, but cats or dogs?
Cats.
Cats.
We have a dog. We have a dog, but we have a dog.
You have a dog too. Okay.
We have a dog.
So you have 3 cats and 1 dog.
3 cats and a dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
She is a mini long-haired Dachshund.
Oh, how sweet!
That's so cute.
Yes, they are. What is her name?
Evie.
Evie. Oh,
Like the Pokemon? Yeah.
Oh.
That's so cute. Okay.
What's your favorite holiday?
Halloween.
Good pick.
That's a good
I
one.
don't even have to think about that one. Halloween. Yeah.
Do you guys decorate the whole house for like Halloween? Is it like
We decorate some. Like we've got a bunch of stuff for outside. I've got like a big 10-foot inflatable Beetlejuice sandworm that I put out every year. So that's the big thing. But we put stuff up all over the house too. That's my wife's favorite holiday too. So she goes as crazy as she can before she inevitably realizes she has to put all that stuff away at some point, and then we'll stop.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So which would you choose? The mountains, beach, or a lake?
Mountains. I'm not a beach person at all. I'm just not.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
My go-to for just kind of a generic pizza is sausage and banana peppers.
I could see it.
I can see that, yeah. Do you have like a favorite sub or a favorite hero?
Not really. I don't do that very often.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the last time I did.
Do you have a favorite movie?
The answer I would typically give is the 80s He-Man movie, despite how awful it is. It's not a good movie. But it's like my favorite movie. But Empire Strikes Back is usually like the one that people would agree with that it's a good movie and it would be there. So that's the easy answer. But my favorite like guilty pleasure movie that I could watch like weekly would be the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie. I love it so much. It's not good, but I love it.
That's awesome. What was your favorite TV show as a kid? What is your favorite TV show now?
My favorite show as a kid, it's probably a tie between Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. If I had to take a stab at it, because they both kind of consumed my childhood. Turtles was the first one, and then Power Rangers just sort of took over a few years later. As an adult, I watch The Office every day, so it's got to be that. For better or worse, I watch it like literally every day.
Yes.
So, have you watched the British version as well as the U.S. version? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I vastly prefer the American version, but the British version's good too. It's just not nearly as long.
No, but it's funny. It makes
it's
me
hilarious.
laugh. Yeah. All right.
Do you have a fun family tradition that you do every year?
No, we don't. I'm not sure I could think of a single family tradition that we have. Is that weird?
No.
Yeah, I don't think we do, honestly.
Okay.
I don't have a very big family either, so there's not a lot of us, and my wife and daughter and I go hiking in the woods every year. But that I don't know if that would be like a family tradition. We make a trip out of that every year, but I guess that's what the definition of a tradition, I suppose. But
something you do consistently every year is a tradition. So like, and even like, do you have a Christmas tradition where, your daughter wakes up at 2:00 in the morning and runs downstairs to get her stuff?
Thankfully, she does not do that.
Okay.
I have to like get her out of bed.
Well, that's cool. Yay!
Which is fine.
You.
I'm pretty sure this past year I got up before she did, and had to go get her. I guess it doesn't matter. You're asleep and then you're awake. It feels the same. So I just like, let's let her sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We started
cool.
that Elf on the Shelf thing. So that's probably going to be our Christmas tradition going forward. She bought pretty heavily into that.
Oh, that's funny.
So as long as the illusion's still there, I think it's starting to wear off, but
yeah. She's 8.
Yeah. Yeah, she's already questioning it. Like she's like seen merchandise at stores. She's like, "Why are they selling this stuff?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't speak to that.
So I told my son when he started asking the same questions, I say, as long as you believe, you receive. When you stop believing, you stop receiving. And he believed until he was a senior in high school.
I would have also, yeah. If that's you got to keep up the illusion if that's the threat at that point.
When you stop believing, you stop receiving. So there you go.
I like that. Yeah.
So he believed until he was a senior in high school. Just saying.
That's smart. I like that.
All right. What is your favorite place that you have ever been to?
Favorite place I've ever been to? I don't know if maybe it's like my favorite place, but like maybe the most memorable place I've ever been to. I went to India once. That was really fun.
Wow.
It was for work, but there was still a lot of non-work involved. So that was a whole experience, and that was fun. But I mean, like places that I've been that I really like. I mean, I've been going out to California was probably one of my favorite trips.
Yeah.
Doing that a couple times, just something that's entirely different from where I live.
Yeah.
India is probably the big one though. That was a whole thing. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Is there a place that you'd never want to go?
I would be perfectly content if I never went back to Florida ever again. Ever. I'd be just fine.
Heard. That's cool. So, did you take your daughter to Disney, by the way?
Yeah, she's been to Disney. That was that. I mean,
Okay.
actually, that was an ordeal. But
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not a big beach person. Like I'm just not. So we went to the beach last summer, and like I'm just like been there for a couple hours. Like, what am I supposed to do all day? I'm just sitting here on the beach. I just burn. How long can I be in the water? Like I'm not going to stand in the ocean for 7-8 hours all day long. It just like I just got kind of bored. I'm like this isn't fun anymore. Like I don't want to be on the beach any longer. She got sick when we were at Disney though, so that made that a little difficult.
That made that hard. Yeah.
Yeah, we found out when we got home that she had strep throat while we were there.
Oh no.
So
Oh,
that was a
thing.
fun experience. And my wife got sick while we were there. So we were there. I think we were there for 4 days. I think 3 or 4 days. We made like a quick trip around Christmas 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and to give her that like Disney Christmas experience. So we did like an extra thing where they do a whole. You stay later in the park, and after it's closed down, and there's only like 10% occupancy or something. So we had a lot of extra access, and that was really cool. But then everything just started to get progressively worse. I'm like, she sure doesn't seem to be feeling well, and she's not waking up. She wants to be in bed all day. And then like the last day we were there, she was really good. She was great, and my wife was super sick, so she had to stay in the hotel. And my daughter and I just had a day to ourselves, which was great on its own. But then my wife tried to catch up with us, and they both kind of like converged at peak sickness at the same time. And we're in line for some Elsa ride. I'm like, this is hell on earth right now. I don't want to be here anymore. With 2 sick people, we got to get on a plane tomorrow like this. Like, oh my God. So it was fun, but it was also a little bit difficult because of that. I think if they weren't sick, we would have had a much better time.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I tend to think so. Anyway, we had gone before but she was a lot younger then.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing. Do you remember what your first car was?
It was I don't remember what year it was, but it was an Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra.
Huh.
It was my great grandma's. She sold it to me for like $200. And then I crashed it not long later, and then I didn't have a car for a while.
What has been your favorite car that you have had?
I had a Hyundai Tiburon for a few years, which it's just nothing fancy, but I really loved that car. Nice little sports coupe. It was quick. It had a fairly sizable engine in it for how small it was. And then I sold it because we needed a bigger car for the kid. So it wasn't very good for a car seat because it was only a 2-door, and the back seat wasn't comfortable even if you were a child to sit in it. So I kind of regret selling it. But can't keep everything.
No, you cannot.
What was your high school mascot?
The Wildcat. Yeah, I think it's a pretty common mascot for like a public school. I think my elementary school was a Wildcat, and high school was a Wildcat.
Yeah, Wildcats are everywhere. Well, so are tigers and
anything big cat related is ripe for the picking for a mascot.
That's exactly right. Oh, left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
Aha. What is one thing that's always in your refrigerator?
Well, we have a local or regional soda around here called Ale 8. It's like a ginger ale, but it's not. That's how I can describe it to someone who's never tried it before. Well, I always have it, like always. That's probably the only thing that's maybe consistently in the fridge. We buy it. We keep them in business around here, I think.
That's awesome. You've told us that you play video games. What are your favorite games, or what are the games that you like to play the most?
RPGs, but mostly like Japanese RPGs. Like Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, which is a fairly cliche game to say is your favorite, but it is. But I mean, I play a lot of like racing games with my daughter, or like Mario Party and stuff like that. So those are more in rotation than anything else. The main thing we play is like Mario Kart right now. She loves to try and beat me and never does. You can't go easy on her. Then she'll never learn how to play. So
that's right.
I do not go easy on her.
And I want to say that the first time she beat you, will be a core memory that she will always
She needs to
remember.
keep working on it.
Yeah. Because I beat my dad once at bowling, and I will never forget that day, ever.
She's
Ever
gotten a lot
forget
better,
that.
so it'll happen at some point. I'm sure of it.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, Kevin said so. We went to Kentucky and traveled some around Kentucky. And one of the things that we like to do when we go to a new state is each state usually has some kind of soda or something.
Yeah.
So we've actually had L8 when we were in Kentucky because we wanted to try the.
Yeah, it's like my favorite soda of all time. Like it's my favorite period. Like
that's cool.
Like I have like, speaking of like a core memory, like I have a core memory of my grandfather pulling me in a wagon to the gas station when I was like 3 years old, and he would, throw a quarter in the machine, get an L8, get another one for me, and then we'd go back home because he lived right down the street from us. So like that's where the love of that came from. But it's also, I legitimately think it's delicious. So I drink way too much of it.
That's cool. That's awesome. Okay, Amber, you're up.
If you could become any Four Horsemen mythic character, who would you choose to be?
Ooh, that's a weird question. A lot of evil characters. It's going to be telling about what I want out of life. I don't know. Probably Gideon. He's got the looks. He's got the status. He's got some money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's got a full flowing head of hair now. It's great.
Best answer ever. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Baratheon is one of the 5 pillars. And Jeremy said that all 5 pillars are not going to be dragons.
Right.
So what do you hope the other 4 pillars would be?
I've thought about this a little bit, and I don't know that I really have a solid answer still. Like, I want there to be more dragons for sure. And I think it's, barring the state of things and how toy production goes down the road, I think it's entirely implausible to think we're not going to get another one. Like, they didn't make all that tooling for nothing. It's going to happen in some form. Maybe we'll get another dragon with a different head or different kind of wings or different tail, or, something to use the bulk of it, but maybe not all of it. But I can easily see like the other pillars being something that's not as grand, but something that is maybe a standard figure even, but is super, super detailed and ornate, and is just something that's a little bit like a next level up from a regular Legion's figure or even a deluxe figure. Because there's nothing that says that they have to be enormous creatures either. So, I'd like to see there be some variance in what they are. Now, they could also all be dragons in some different form too. Maybe they're smaller dragon, or maybe a different, more deluxe version of like the dragon ogres. Maybe there's a bigger version of that, like a troll scale or something like that, which would be an entirely different kind of figure than what we've ever seen, but utilizing that sort of the idea there. So I'm open to pretty much anything. And since we're getting so many beast things now, it's hard to know like what's going to constitute a pillar. Like, you could look at, why am I blanking on the lion guy's name? Leo's here.
Leodicius.
Like, you could look at him, you could see him, you could look at him and be like, oh, he could be one. Like, why couldn't he? He's this big monster, like, lion dude. Surely he looks like he has the potential for that. So it's kind of hard to say where they might go with some of this stuff. I do think we're going to get more dragons, though. I'm slightly concerned about the prospect of it, but and they, like, where are they going to go? I don't know. They all can't be that big. Like, your average Legions collector cannot display that. Like, I can't display it. 5 of them would be almost an impossibility for most people.
Right.
I think anyway. I think it's almost ludicrous to think people can display that in their homes at that scale, with everybody still being on board for all of them.
Right.
You've got, however many people just bought one. How many of those people already can't display a second one?
Right.
Because the damn thing's as big as your dining room table.
Yeah.
I think,
And I've got a lot of other big stuff too that I've got to keep in mind. So, because big toys are a big thing right now.
right.
Again, so big expensive toys, let's say. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to hang it from the ceiling.
That terrifies me. I would feel, I don't think I'd be anything but perpetually nervous about it. I'd have to have somebody come in and really know what they were doing, add some extra supports or something, put it in a baby Bjorn and hang it from the ceiling or something like that. I'd just be too nervous. I feel like it would just come crashing down because my basement floor is concrete tiles, so it would just shatter if it landed. So,
Or if you walk and that thing just donks you in the head.
You're gonna get clipped with a wing or something.
How did you sustain those injuries?
Oh my gosh! Oh,
that's
dragon.
so
funny.
But that's a problem for a later time.
Yeah, that's what Curtis said. Dragon space is a future Curtis problem.
It is.
Him and his 3 dragons.
I only got 2.
I had 2.
Yeah, we got 2 as well. So.
Only 2.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Last question, Amber. You're up.
So, what is one thing that you can tell us that you haven't told anyone else?
Is this a thing in general? Is this toy related?
Anything.
Because I have a number of toy hot takes that I don't ever speak about to anybody, because I don't put that stuff out there really. So I'll give you my toy hot take right now.
Okay.
That one that I know I've never really talked to anybody about, because it's a line that I don't exactly talk to people about. I really only talk to people about Legions for the most part. But we'll go back to Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends originally started with Toy Biz and is with Hasbro now. And there's this contingent of people that still maintain that Toy Biz Marvel Legends are some of the peak toy examples or peak action figures. And I think they are some of the absolute biggest pieces of garbage that I've ever seen. They're some of the ugliest action figures. They are responsible for a lot of progress in the industry, for sure. I will never dispute that. But I think they are some of the objectively worst looking action figures in many ways. There are some really good examples, and there are some absolute pieces of garbage that people defend. And I absolutely, it drives me up the freaking wall, because there's so much progress that's been made in toy creation and action figures. And you can say what you want about Hasbro products all day long, but I could easily find in 30 seconds some of the ugliest figures of all time by just looking at Toy Biz Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
That's it. And I honestly don't think I've ever actually put that out there before. So I invite the commentary on that for people that would love to argue. But I think they are garbage, and the people that love them are looking at them through rose-colored glasses.
Oh, we're getting it now. Unfollow this channel. How dare you, sir?
Yeah, I knew Josh was going to have something to say to that one.
Oh, Blake, 100% agreed, minus the Toy Biz BAF.
BAFs were cool.
The Scarlet DC is better than any Marvel line ever.
Oh, yeah. The Thing still looks great. Okay. Scarlet Witch is possibly the ugliest action figure
That's
ever.
Scarlet Witch, and they made a rogue that was just absolutely awful. They're so bad. That line is a great example of how to do female characters dirty.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Jared, my cheeks hurt. I have laughed so much. It has been the best. what a fun time I have had. Amber, have you had as much fun as I have?
I have. This was a ball.
It was. It was so fun. Jared, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us, letting us get to know you a little bit better. Next time we come out to Louisville, I'm gonna look you up, dude.
You know how to get a hold of me.
I do, and I'm going to. I like Louisville. We went to the Brown Hotel. Is it the Brown Hotel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and had a one of their hot browns or whatever.
Had hot brown, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
I don't know the last time I've had a hot brown, but I know, yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
It was so good. We went and watched the horse. It wasn't, during the Kentucky Derby, but we went and watched the horse races. They had horse races.
It's cool to go
over there. Yeah, I mean, it was just
like
fun.
it's cool to go at least once and like to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Churchill Downs is a little bit different than what people actually think it is that have never gone. Like it's a whole thing. Yeah. It's massive. Yeah.
It's massive. Like it's huge. I was like, Derby. Kevin had Derby pie.
Oh, Derby pie's great.
I'm allergic to chocolate, so I didn't have any. But the chef did make me my own personal little dessert out of stuff that he just conjured up back
awesome.
In the kitchen, and it was delicious. But yeah, we love Louisville. Like Louisville is one of my favorite places that we've actually been. We love to travel, and we went to Louisville, and it was a lot of fun. So next time we're out,
cool.
I'm gonna look you up.
Go for it.
All right.
I'll be here.
Well, it was great talking to you, Jared, and thank you all in the chat for joining us tonight as we talk to Jared. Jared will be at Legion's Con. Amber, where are you going to be? What do you have any Toy Cons coming up?
We are going to be at the Maryland Toy Expo on June 14th.
Oh wow, great! So you can catch Ryan and Amber, Maryland, on June 14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think there's another Toy Con, if I'm not mistaken. It's Toy Con or something. In September, there's another one. But I don't know if the Horsemen are going to be there or not.
Okay. So Kevin and I are trying to figure out if we're going to go to Heroes Con or possibly to Joe Lanta or Joe Fest. I don't know. We're still trying to figure out if we can go to either one of those. If not, we will see you all at Legion's Con in November. Oh, Benny said Toy Con in September. Yes.
Haha, I knew that's what it was. Thanks, Benny.
Yeah. So we will see you at the cons. Please come up, say hey, get pictures with us. We love when you guys come say hey to us. Curtis, let's talk. I know, but we need to talk. I know. We need to talk. All right. So you guys have a great evening. Thank you again, Jared. We truly appreciate you. Everybody have a great night and a great Memorial Day weekend. And stay safe. And we will catch you guys in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.